Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about nouns and articles. There are two types of nouns, countable nouns and uncountable nouns. What are they? Countable nouns are nouns that you can count. Therefore, they can either be singular or plural. If it is a singular noun, it usually follows a, an, or one. For example, my brother has bought a new video game. I saw an elephant in my dream. If it is a plural noun, it must end with s, and there must not be any article a or an before it. For example, my brother has bought 2 video games. I saw many elephants in my dream. If it is not a countable noun, it must be an uncountable noun. Uncountable nouns fall into 3 types. The first one is mass nouns. They are the physical things that are difficult to count, like rice, water, hair, etc. The second one is categorical nouns. They are nouns for categories or groups of things, like furniture, equipment, etc. And the last one is abstract nouns. They are nouns for non-physical ideas and concepts, like advice, information. Therefore, names of liquids, materials, ideas, and other things that are not separate objects are often uncountable nouns. When it is an uncountable noun, it does not follow a, an, or any numbers, and it must not end with s. Also, it is followed by a singular verb. For example, the equipment has arrived. When we want to comment on its amount, we will use it with much or little for uncountable nouns and many, few, several for countable nouns. Of course, there are some determiners that can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns, like a lot of and some. However, if we want to count uncountable nouns, what should we do? We have to use a quantifier. Different quantifiers go with different uncountable nouns, but basically, we only need to add a countable noun plus the preposition of, such as a glass of water, a loaf of bread, a strand of hair, 2 strands of hair. Among all, the most common quantifiers are piece and item. For example, a piece of advice, an item of furniture. When you look up some nouns from the dictionary, you will see square brackets C, showing that it is a countable noun, and square brackets U, indicating that it is an uncountable noun. But sometimes you can see nouns with brackets C or U. What does that mean? It actually simply means that the noun can be countable or uncountable. These nouns can be either countable or uncountable depending on how you use them. Usually there is a difference in meaning too. Let's look at some examples. Food and drinks are normally considered uncountable. But when we order food and drinks in a restaurant, you can use it like a countable with a, an, and numbers. Example sentence: I'd like an orange juice and 2 soups. The next one is experience. When you look up the noun form of experience, there are 2 meanings. One is the process of getting knowledge or skill from doing, seeing, or feeling things. And the other one is something that happens to you which affects how you feel. Therefore, when you use the words experience meaning the knowledge or skill, it should be an uncountable noun. And when you want to talk about something happening to you in the past, it is a countable noun. You can also find different meanings of the noun glass. Glass is an uncountable noun when you refer it to the transparent material and the objects made from glass when thought of as a group. However, it is a countable noun when you refer it to a small container made of glass with a flat base and usually with no handle. That's why we would say, "Can I have a glass of juice?" instead of "Can I have glass of juice?" The same concept goes with paper. Paper is uncountable when we talk about a material, but it becomes countable when we refer paper as a newspaper, an exam paper, and an essay. There are a lot of meanings of work. Work is an uncountable noun when it refers to an activity that a person uses effort to do. The material used by someone at work or what they produce, and a place where a person goes to do their job. When work is a countable noun, it is something created as a result of effort, especially a painting, book, or piece of music. It can also refer to an industrial building and the parts of a machine. Lastly, surface. In general, surface is an abstract, uncountable noun. However, when we want to emphasize different or specified surface, it will become a countable noun. For example, the service is very bad in that restaurant. It talks about the service of that restaurant in general. Our bank offers many services: current accounts, saving accounts, and loans. This shows different services that the bank offers. The postal service is not available on Christmas Day. It is an example of specified service. Speaking of nouns, we also have to talk about articles. Nouns and articles often go together. There are two types of articles: the indefinite article a or an, and the definite article the. Using the correct article is often difficult, but there are some basic rules you can follow. We use the indefinite article a or an where the noun is singular countable. In other words, there should not be a or an when it is a plural noun, and you can't find them before uncountable nouns as well. Also, we normally use a or an when the noun is mentioned for the first time. After all, a and an are indefinite articles. The word indefinite means not exact. So indefinite articles are used when we are not talking about anything specific, but talking about things in general. So when do we use a and when do we use an? Some people might say that we use an when the noun starts with the letters A, E, I, O, U. However, it is not completely correct. In fact, whether we use a or an depends on the first syllable or sound of the noun. We only use an when the first syllable is a vowel. In other words, it is not the spelling of the word which starts with A, E, I, O, U, but their sounds R, A, E, O, U, or any other sounds that don't need you to close any parts of your mouth or nose muscles, like an apple, an explanation, and also an hour. All these words begin with a vowel as you don't close any parts of your mouth or nose muscles when you articulate the first sound of these words. Of course, if the first syllable isn't a vowel, we use a. What about the? As it is called definite article, the is used when we are talking about a specific one. For example, when we have already mentioned the thing before, we use the to emphasize that it is not another of the same kind, but the exact one that I have been talking about. For example, I have bought a dress. The dress costs $300. We also use the when there is only one in the world, or everyone knows exactly what we are talking about. For example, the son, the principal of our school. Please note that the definite article the can be used before all nouns, both countable and uncountable nouns, as long as we want to specify which one we are exactly talking about. However, sometimes we can see some nouns without any articles. So when can we skip the articles? As I have just mentioned, the definite article the is used when we want to refer to a specific thing. And the indefinite article are and an are used when we talk about something in general. And the noun is singular and countable. In other words, we don't need to add any article when we talk about something in general, and the noun is either plural countable or simply uncountable. For example, eating apples is good for our health. As the saying goes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Both apples are something in general, not any particular apple. But since apples is a plural countable, we can skip the article. But the other apple is a singular countable, so the article an is needed. Nouns and articles are one of the most important elements in a sentence. I hope this video can help remind you the basics of it. That's all for this video. Hope you'll find it useful. Bye!